Hey everybody, Minion Soldier, Piracy Show, let's go. Alright, so yesterday we were talking about bringing people onto your ship, especially people who maybe aren't starting out with the wealth of resources that others are, and, using that as a way to springboard them ahead in the game, and in a way to kind of help fill out the crew on your ship. Because I have always had, I would say, a healthy prejudice against NPCs on the ship, but I do acknowledge that it is a prejudice based on my experience in gaming, which I'm sure a lot of us know is more or less about tricking NPCs one way or another. I use the WoW example, but I mean every boss fight in just about every game you've ever played is knowing what his or her moves are, knowing how to dodge them, avoid them, absorb them, deflect them, that sort of thing, getting through, basically solving the puzzle and getting the loot, the gold, whatever. And so I always look at NPCs and I always say, when people call them AI, I always kind of laugh at that, because it's not really AI. It's more like SI, simulated intelligence, because there's no real artificial intelligence there's no awareness. There's no, oh, you know what, I don't want to do this, I want to read a book anyways. This is just something that's supposed to simulate the idea of an intelligence. And when I look at NPCs, I always kind of say, that in general, it's never really all that hard to fool them. Once you kind of understand the boundaries within which they operate, you can kind of bounce around them a certain way and trick them out and get away with whatever you want. You can go to YouTube, you can go to any one of 100 videos of thousands, millions, and see people showing, oh, here's how I tricked out this level in this game to get it all done here, there, or here's how I went and snuck by all these guys and ended up just getting the loot and walking out, ha ha ha, that sort of thing. Like, YouTube gaming is filled with videos like that. But one of the things that I think that having NPCs for your crew, one of the areas that I think that they're going to be strong in is ship security. Now, I also would think that personal security would probably be a solid strength for them to have. And it's not that I think that they would be unsuitable in any other role. I'm sure that they will, at the very least, be competent at it, but I always kind of tend to lean towards the humans. I guess that's part of my prejudice. But yeah, ship security, I think, is a pretty strong role for these characters. Now, this ship here is the Prowler, and of course this is the stealth boarding ship from last year's anniversary sale. And well, of course, it drew a lot of attention from players, and one of the things that it raised the possibility of is this was a ship that was reputed to be able to sneak people onto other ships, to be able to sneak up on other ships and get boarders who could then EVA out and basically infiltrate and, I guess, take over, rob, or destroy an enemy ship. So it's very possible that if you're out doing your own thing, someone could be sneaking aboard your ship at any given time. Someone could, let's say you're out mining or you're out exploring an asteroid, things like that. Someone could be sneaking onto your ship. How do you protect your ship? How do you protect yourself? If all your crew are basically sitting at crew stations looking at their monitors or looking out the window, how do you know if someone is maybe hacking a lock and getting into your ship? Would you be able to get up and get enough people there in time to stop that from happening? Is there any way that you could slow them down? Now, this is where the NPCs come in, because imagine having a squad of these guys patrolling around in your ship, making sure that your ship is secure. Think of it from the attacker's point of view. If you're sneaking onto someone's ship, what are the most important things that you have to do? You have to be fast. You have to work with surprise. You have to shut down the armory if there is one, or the gun rack, so to speak, if that's all that the ship has. You have to know where those things are. You have to get in, you have to shut that down, you have to trap whatever defenders, you have to keep them separated from each other, keep them from being able to work together to coordinate, and you have to move quickly in order, to, once again, follow through with that surprise and basically keep them off kilter until you can finally complete the boarding and take over the ship. Having a group of NPCs that are patrolling your ship that are heavily armored, heavily armed, that throws a wrench into that plan. So, I mean, whether you're a pirate and you're being boarded by some mercenaries or vice versa, this is something that can at least slow them down. Or hopefully, if you're lucky, stop them in their tracks. But more than likely, it's just going to be something that is going to slow them down. Buy you the time you need to get organized and get a defense worked up somehow, some way. Protect vital parts of the ship from sabotage. And just give yourself the best chance to get out of there alive. When I look at NPCs for crew members, and like even I have like NPC game packages. I am one of those guys, but this is what I look to do with them. This is kind of the role that I have pre-selected for them, is ship security. When I look at my Caterpillar, for example, my general idea is I want to have 2 of these guys standing watch at the airlock on the roof. I want 2 more standing watch at where the gun rack and where the elevator is down on the, I was going to say basement, but down on the ground floor of the thing. And I want 2 more running just random patrol through the ship as we're out doing whatever. I mean, you think about it. It is kind of the perfect trap. If you're out there in space and you found, say, a derelict and you're willing to wait, if you're the patient type, someone shows up, they find the derelict, they're like, ooh, maybe I can get some stuff off of here. And while they're in doing their thing, you sneak into their ship and maybe steal some stuff or steal the ship and leave them there. I mean, that was a problem in the very early days of the baby PU. And still a problem to this day, hopefully soon to be resolved in 3.0. But hopefully we will very soon see that. I would like to have some of these guys just acting as just random security. That's where I would see the real value in NPCs and, basically the NPC game packages, of course. Anniversary sale coming up. That's generally when these things go out for dirt cheap. And, it's always kind of funny to see people's comments like, wow, these things just sold like hotcakes. So all these new players are coming. It's not new players coming. It's all the people who are like, oh, you know what? I need some NPCs to crew my Polaris. I need some NPCs to crew my Idris. Oh, well, I guess I'll buy 5 game packages and there goes $100. But now you got basically 5 people to do this, to pat and protect your ship. And, this isn't something that just affects, say, the big ship owners, but, I mean, think about it even in a Cutlass type situation. Remember, like, Star Citizen isn't WoW. It isn't like any of those games where it's like, oh, well, guys, I'll just res at the graveyard and we'll come back and we'll own these pricks. No, like, that isn't a thing. When you die, you literally, like, die. And you have to basically make a new character who inherits all your old stuff. And when you're wounded, you're actually wounded. It's much closer, I think, in certain aspects to like a survival game, like a DayZ or something like that. And not so much like, the classic MMO formula that we've known for so long. This is a different thing entirely, And so having a bunch of guys like this, even in a Cutlass type situation, let's say you land on a planet and you want to check something out, but maybe like the Pathfinder demo, there's a bunch of outlaws guarding the down javelin or something like that. You may want to send these guys in first because you don't want to risk getting yourself shot. And so it's like, go get them, red shirts, go in there and mix things up. And maybe while they're in there, like, let's say you're somebody who enjoys using sniper rifles. Well, if you use this as like your assault infantry, you can sit back and snipe and cover them as they're going in, that type of situation. But if one of these guys gets wounded, well, it's not really a person. It's not really one of your friends that you may be playing with. It's just more or less an expendable NPC that basically instantly gets replaced. You go, let's say one of them dies, and in the end, I mean, it could be as simple as you go back to Port Olisar and you dock there, and all of a sudden someone's waiting for you, and it's like, oh, hey there, TK421, welcome to my crew. Hop on, and you suit them up with armor and a gun, and they're ready to rock and roll. No questions asked. It could be that simple, and probably won't be too far off of that. This is where I think that you're really going to get the most mileage out of those NPC crew members. It's not so much going to be manning the stations in your ship that require perhaps some creative thinking, but more along the lines of, say, providing ship security or acting as bodyguards when you're down on a planet, or let's say you have to assault a location, much like, the Javelin on, what was it, Lear, that we saw in the Pathfinder demo a while ago, quite a while ago, actually. If you have, like, say, some of these guys to go in first and basically assault that, then you can work things from the back. Or let's say you're somebody who wants to play more as a combat medic, and having a bunch of these guys heavily armored going out and doing the fighting for you while you basically give them orders, react to the situation, and patch them up as they get wounded and keep them going. That could be interesting as well. But I think that when you look at the subsumption videos and you're looking at how they're basically building the AI and building the NPC AI, I think a lot of it seems to be built around that FPS NPC style of intelligence, reacting to sound, reacting to motion, that sort of thing. I think that this is probably where you're going to get the most mileage out of your NPCs, is basically as ship security and as assault troops or shock troops when you're on the ground or when you're boarding the ship, that sort of thing. Anyways, that's my thoughts on NPCs and NPC crews. I don't think it's going to be impossible to do other things with them, but I think that you're probably going to get the most bang for your buck using them as assault troops or ship security. Anyways, that's the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.